Good morning, good evening. How you all doing? Frix has delivered us a new ShakeTune, ShakeTune V5. There's some reasons for this, and mainly they're Klipper reasons, but it also incorporates some other improvements that we'll go through here. So, big mouse. Know you guys like the big mouse. So, uh, Klipper made a change to the resonance testing. They added a sweeping test. So previously the old test was just static. It just stayed in the middle, move about a millimeter. It would stay like right here in the middle and move a millimeter left and right, forward and backward. So Klipper's test now actually moves the whole tool head to the side and takes a measurement, and I believe it starts in the back and moves it forward. So that's more information here uh, on the changes. So this is, as I said, the new test vibrated in place. Old test vibrated in place. New test sweeps it. The purpose of the sweeping is to potentially give a more accurate depiction of what your system's doing, and it works better on less rigid systems than a Voron. What does Frix have to say? He's got a bunch to say here. I'll leave it here for a second for you guys to read. If you need more, he's got this link here, and I'll put this link in the description. All the links here I'll put in the description so you guys can go uh, read them at your leisure. Basically, I'm gonna summarize this as you read. The summary is use the old test to try to figure out mechanical issues, and use the new sweeping test as your final shake tune or input shaper thing. So what is new? Frix has created a changelog. I'm actually going to put that there too in the description. Most of the updates behind the scenes, there's not a lot coming out in front. We'll go over that. Um, but he's trying to help people with the timer too close errors, the issue with saving a file and running the next test before the file was completely saved, those kind of things. So a lot of it's behind the scenes. It will work with the new sweeping test, which is one reason why you couldn't run the old ShakeTune version 4 with the updated Klipper. So now we're going to go through what the tests actually look like between version 4 and version 5 of ShakeTune. After this, we will look at what the sweeping test looks like, and I'll try to do some comparisons. So my test system, it's a VT300Q by LDO. It's got a serial. Nothing here is really important. I just put all the mods that I have on this one. It's not heavily modded. The umbilical and the EBB36 are the important ones because that is going to affect your resonance. We are not using the cartographer for the measurements. We want a baseline with that most people are going to have, which would be an EBB36. And so that's what I'm using to measure all the tests coming down. No belts were harmed in making this video. Just want to, I know you guys get worried sometimes. So this is what the old test looks like. Pretty standard. Nothing there. The new test. This is old test on ShakeTune 4. Old test on belts version ShakeTune version 5. Version 5 gives you this pulse only. The pulse only says that you're basically using the old test. If you have the new test, it will say sweeping. Same basic graphs. You know you're on version 5 over here. Once again, do not use this number to say how good your belts are. This number, you could have the worst graph in the world, and this number will still say, "Oh, you're 100%." This is just don't use it. Use the graphs. So you can see here currently. So this, let me go back. This was ran sometime in October. This was run today. My belts have moved a little bit. I'm not worried. So the old, okay, so here we're going to look. So this is the new version. So the old version, everything was here, and you had this legend up in here, and it gave you all the information. The new version is over here, and he's taken the legend out, and he's made this a little bit bolder. Your belt best shaper, estimated damping ratio. You still have this. You can see I've changed my square corner velocity in the system. Just brought it down a little bit. So if you look at these here, compare them, not much has changed. I do, the accels have slowed down because I've got a lower square corner velocity. Once again, we're in pulse only, which is the old test, and this is the main difference. It just gives you this bigger thing over here. The test is basically the same. Same with the Y graphs. He's got the, tells you which version here are here. And this is, so there's not much difference here in these graphs. The vibrations is that one versus this. They're basically the same. No change in the vibrations. So the biggest change we have in the outward facing on ShakeTune 5 is that this stuff has come out on the side, and there's some behind the scenes improvements, namely the ability to use Klipper, updated Klipper. So the sweeping test versus, so the sweeping test is the new one, the non-sweeping is the old version. The key config is sweeping period. All right. Once again, I'm gonna put this in here. It's in your resonance testing section. If you want the old version, your sweeping period is 0. If you want the new version, your sweeping period is 1.2. This will require a Klipper restart. So just be aware of that. And if you get confused, I'm going to show you how to tell the difference when we look at the graphs. So this is the new graph. This is how you tell the difference. Mode sweeping. So sweeping is the new version, pulse is the old version. So these graphs, we'll compare these two, but let's see if, so let's do it now since I got them. We'll go back to here. All right. Oh, where did that go? Belts V4, V5. Can we make this bigger? Probably can. So you can see here, in here, I got the sweeping test gave me this extra peak around my tool head. And it looks like this is about the same height. So everything here from alpha and beta and gamma, I believe gamma, are about the same. Now we have alpha, delta, gamma, and beta. So the sweeping test picked up a new peak. It also says that these guys are off a lot more than they are in this. So I haven't done a lot of testing on this and to determine which one is which, but I got a sense that if you want to, for belts, pick one and then stick with it. If you want to do the old test, use the old test to get your belts in, and then just leave it and then work on input shaper. I haven't, or if you do the new test, just leave it at the new test. I haven't tried going through this too much, so I haven't done a lot of testing on this. There is a difference in the results here in the belts, but we'll take a look and see if there's a difference in the X and Y. So here's X, and we'll go to this is the new X over here. And here's the old X. So it looks like we get this little, the new one's giving us a hump at the 125 Hertz in belt and XY. Our accelerations came down about 200. The damping ratio went up. So that's going to, if we go back over here, we're at 1.5. So we're a little higher. We got a little higher max peak here. Still got the same kind of shape. That peak's about the same. So this right here is kind of what's throwing it off a bit, I think, in the sweeping test. Yeah, I think so. Is it 75? 75 right before that. So we've actually so the sweeping test took our peak down about, looks like about 3 Hertz. That looks about the same, a little noisier, but so the reduction in the max peak here to the left probably slowed down our accels a bit. But our MZV actually went down in vibrations with this test from 1 to 5. So this one here and this one here will run on the same machine, basically 15 minutes apart. Our smoothing went up slightly. and our speed dropped with this test. So this test, according to Frix, your final input shaper should be done with the sweeping test. All your troubleshooting and stuff like that should be done with the pulse or the non-sweeping test, the old version. So your final version would be this. And we can see that we might be picking up some tool head issues. Let's take a look at what the Y says. So that's that. Let's pull up Y now. There we go. Alright, so Y is pulling up the tool head also, or that's not, it's maybe the umbilical there. So it's pulling something up. We got that there, so that's about the same. So let's see, looking through this. MZV 6000, so it is dropping our Excel, the new test, a bit, and it is raising our damping ratio, the way it's measuring. Our main peak is now at about 43, and old peak was a little higher. So it looks like we're dropping a couple hertz down. But this is, what is this at? 1 to the 4. So we got less power spectral density. So what does that mean? Less energy was coming out of this on the sweeping test versus static, keeping them the same. So all these are like an order of magnitude lower. Maybe almost an order, because we're at 8, so 1. So this right here is an order of magnitude lower than this peak. And as I said, I haven't done any printing on this one versus the other. I'm just presenting what I've done. Real quick intro into the differences here. It's going to take some more testing and people printing things at both the old version and the new shapers to figure out which one's better. And then our vibrations, let's take a look at those. Oop, there we go, there's our vibrations there. 1 to the 8, 2, 2. These look about the same. I wouldn't, let's see here, 1 to the 8, 7. Yeah, these are about the same. So there's no real difference in the vibrations test for sweeping versus the pulse or non-sweeping. So that's kind of it. So just to recap, the biggest difference we're going to see in the new sweeping test is it's going to give us a lower Excel in X and Y, and looks like it's going to create some sort of hump at the 125 right here. So that might be a tool head. It did in the belts too. So it's going to be something on probably XY joints. That would probably be over here. Something in my tool head does not like that sweep motion. Could be the umbilical going left to right, doesn't like it, because we've always optimized for the tool head and the umbilical in this direction, which is this guy right here, the umbilical in that direction. So maybe that's another umbilical artifact. We shouldn't, because this is so low, these peaks here and the X are so low, it shouldn't affect your input shaper, or your resonance, your ghosting, because as you can see, this line right here is with MZV applied. So it's even at this hump here, there's like basically nothing there. It's not just probably above the noise level in this. It's not really messing with anything. So that's the update to ShakeTune 5.0. It's kind of a short video. Need to do some more testing on that sweeping to see if it actually makes a difference, or does it just make different graphs. So any questions or comments, leave them below. And thank you, and have a good morning and good night.